I'm going to fill a 5-inch case now with some glitter crossettes. In this case I've rolled from 5 turns of £70 craft paper. The crossettes are a little bit undersized, so what I've done is I put a liner inside 2 turns of chipboard as a liner. I've got a 4.5-inch time fuse in the top, put inside one of my little red spalette tubes to give me plenty of height on the top here for pasting and spiking. And the glitter crossettes are made in the traditional way. They've been pasted with 2 layers of £30 paper, tongue fold on the bottom. The tops are primed with some 4FA BP. Okay, I have 33 comets here. This is going to give me 11 per row. I'll have 3 rows. Just arrange them around the outside. Now the 11th one's gone in very easily. I know if I turn this shell upside down there, they're going to drop out. So I want to just wedge them in place, get the ring nice and tight. You can use pieces of cardboard folded up as wedges, or I like to use these slithers of wood. They've got a little taper on the end so that they can get a start in between the comets. Some are about 1/8 wide, some are a 1/16. I'll start off with one over here on this side, and that's just dropped in more or less, so I get another one. I'll put one on the opposite side. That's also gone in quite easily. So I'll have a third one. That's gone in a little bit tighter. Turn it around. I think just one more will do this. I'll get a fairly thick one. See if that's going to go in or not. Okay, that one's tight, so a little bit of a thinner one, I guess. I'll just force it into place. Okay, that's quite tight. I can turn the shell upside down now. I can give it a tap, and they don't move. They're well wedged in. Now you've got all these spaces here in between the shell wall and the comet. These little triangular spaces there. These want to be filled up with something. I used to use sawdust to do this with, but I noticed a few shells that I fired that I'd sawdusted things in. I had a lot of incoming glowing debris, and it wasn't from the charcoal stars I was using at the time, because I was certain that they were very dry, and I reckon it was from the sawdust. And I don't know if anybody else has ever had that problem. Maybe the sawdust wasn't dry, maybe it was the kind of wood. I don't know what it was, but I had a lot of glowing bits coming down to the ground when I sawdusted things in. So now I use Polverone instead, and this is a kind of mix. It's 2FA, it's got some 3FA in it, and I just tip the shell at an angle a little bit, and then I sprinkle it in and then turn it and allow the Polverone to drop down into the the spaces here between the comets. Some of it will go down in the middle of the shell, don't worry about that, you'll just tip it all out later. And when they all appear to be full, I put it back on the stand, and I've got a little stick here, and it's got a 1-inch section of it has been ground down, and 2 of the sides are flat. These 2 sides are flat, and the back side here you can see has got a curve on it, and it just fits perfectly inside this space here when I'm putting a 1-inch comet in. And I've got sticks for 1/2 inch, for inch, 1.25 inch, different size comets or crossettes to pack the polverone down. Now just run the stick down, just pack the polverone down into these spaces here. You probably have to do 2 fillings to get them full. You can hear it crunching as it consolidates the polverone granules. And put a bit more in. Stick my excess bag in there. Most of them are up to the top now, just put a bit more in where they aren't. Okay, you can see now it's got 1 row in, the spaces are all packed, and now I want to put another row on top. Instead of putting them directly on top of the one below it, you want to stagger it by 1/2 a diameter, like that, as though you were building a brick wall. It makes for a stronger case if you do it like this. And my last row, staggered again, but this time I don't want the prime part at the top here under the end disc. It's more difficult for it to take fire like that, so I turn it upside down and sit it on top of the prime on the row beneath it. A little better fit that last row, but still needs a little spacer. Needs 2. Well, it needs 3. Put something a little finer in this, I think. Okay, tip out the extra that you've got in there, and now if you give it a good squeeze, it's rock solid. You can't really feel the gaps where the polverone's in. It's all nice and tight. Now there's not a lot of space in there. There certainly isn't enough space for me to put a canal in there and any cut stars around the canal, so it's just a break of 1-inch crossettes. And then this entire centre section here I simply fill with 2FA. Just tamp it down around the centre tube there. Use something a bit bigger to wrap it in. Okay, and one more. One more brings it up to the base of the comets there, and then for the final 1/8 of an inch here to bring it up to the end of the liner where I'm going to put the end disc, and I just fill this area with rough powder. I've got enough burst in there as it is. I don't really want to contribute any more to it. Now just bring it up about 1/16 of an inch above the level of the liner, a little bit more. And then when I put my end disc down and tamp it down, it'll compress everything nicely. And that's the shell spiked, 2 strands of 1mm and some nice close together circumferential spiking on it to give it a good wide burst.